Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Palast here. We're going to explore some more fairy tales. Very excited about this. So we're going back into my classic fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm. And remember, fairy tales are a fictional story, but have a moral, a lesson, or a message for the reader. So the story today is illustration. The Brementown Musicians. A man owned a donkey that had faithfully served him for many years, without ever giving in to exhaustion, but was now old and lacking in strength and unable to work as hard. The master decided to put him down, but the donkey, having realized his predicament, decided to escape. He headed toward the city of Bremen, where he had hoped to join the town band. After walking a while, the donkey met a hunting dog that was lying on the side of the road, breathing heavily from running. "Why are you panting? Why are you panting so hard?" asked the donkey. "Oh," replied the dog, "now that I'm old and too weak to keep hunting, my master was going to get rid of me. So I fled as fast as I could, but now I wonder how I'm going to make a living and survive." "I'm going to Bremen to join the town band. Come with me," said the donkey. The dog accepted the invitation, and together they resumed his journey. After a short time, they met a cat that looked very sad. "What happened to you?" said the donkey. "I'm getting older, and my teeth are not as sharp as they used to be. Instead of hunting mice, I'd rather keep warm next to the stove. So my mistress tried to drown me, but I managed to escape. And now I don't know where to go or what to do." "Come to Bremen with us, and we'll all join the town band." The cat agreed and went with the donkey and the dog. Along the way, the threesome passed a courtyard with a hen house, inside which a rooster was making a lot of noise. "What are you squawking? Why are you squawking so loud?" asked the donkey. It's quite the group.
"Tomorrow is a holiday, and the mistress has invited her relatives to dinner. She ordered the cook to wring my neck because she wants me as the main course," the rooster answered, between one shriek and the next. "Stop crying," said the donkey. "Come to Bremen with us. You have a loud voice, and together we'll perform a beautiful concert." The rooster accepted the offer, and the four new friends resumed their journey. At nightfall, the group stopped in the woods to rest. The donkey and the dog lay under a tree, while the cat and the rooster looked for a safe spot high up in the branches. Before going to sleep, the rooster took a look around and noticed a tiny light shining in the distance. Surely it was a house. Excited, he flew over to tell his comrades, and together they decided to get back on the road to reach the clearing where the light was coming from. At last, they arrived at the house, which was all lit and occupied by a gang of robbers. The donkey, which was the tallest, walked up to the window and looked inside. "What do you see?" asked the rooster impatiently. "I see a table surrounded by a bunch of robbers enjoying a nice feast," replied the donkey. "It would be nice if it were us instead of the robbers," sighed the rooster. The four animals decided to come up with a plan to scare the robbers away. The donkey leaned his forefeet against the windowsill. The dog jumped on the donkey's back, the cat jumped on top of the dog, and the rooster flew on top of the cat's head. In this fashion, they began their concert. The donkey brayed as loud as he could. "Ee-haw! Ee-haw!" The dog barked insistently. "Hoo! Hoo! Hoo! Hoo!" The cat meowed. "Meow, meow, meow, meow." And the rooster called at the top of his voice.
Cock-a-doodle-doo! They made a terrible din. At that moment, the donkey gave the signal, and the four animals burst through the window, shattering the glass and terrorizing the robbers, who all fled into the woods. Overjoyed, the four friends sat at the table and ate until they almost burst. Then they went to sleep, each choosing a spot that was the most suited to their habits. The donkey found a comfortable bed in the dunghill, the dog settled behind the door, the cat slept near the fireplace, and the rooster flew up to a beam. They all fell asleep. They all fell into a deep sleep. Tough read. Oh, look at this. Meanwhile, the robbers, who were hiding in the depths of the woods, tried to understand what happened and what caused them to be so frightened to flee without even looking back. The captain decided to send one of his men to investigate the situation. The robber cautiously approached the house and took a look inside, trying to see the enemy in the darkness. Everything appeared calm. There was no suspicious noise, and the house looked more or less how they'd left it, except for the table on which there were only a few leftovers. The robber decided to get some light so he could take a closer look. Next to the fireplace, he saw two glowing embers, which he approached to light a matchstick. But those embers were none other than the glowing eyes of the cat, who leaped at him, scratching him in the face. The terrified robber tried to escape through the door, but he stumbled over the dog, who promptly bit him in the leg. The poor robber ran into the courtyard where he passed the donkey, who had been awoken by all the commotion, and kicked him hard in the behind. Meanwhile, the rooster crowed viciously from a high beam. Cock-a-doodle-doo! Seized by terror, the robber fled, running as fast as he could until he reached the companions. In a whimper, he said, "There is a horrible and cruel witch in this house. She assaulted me and scratched my face with nails as sharp as blades. Guarding the door and an armed man who stabbed me with a knife and inflicted a deep wound in my leg. In the courtyard near the dunghill, there is a monster that struck me with a heavy club. And finally, on the roof, there's a judge who, in a horrendous voice, cries, 'Chain that robber! It's a miracle I managed to escape.' From that day onward, the robbers decided to stay away from the house, and the four Brementown musicians were so comfortable there, they decided to stay and to end their journey." And that's the end of the Brementown Musicians. Okay, so moral of this story. What was the author? What was his message he was trying to get for you, the reader? Give you a little wait time. The Brementown Musicians. All right, you got it? Say it out loud. I can read your lips. Okay. The moral of the Brementown Musicians is that everyone matters and everyone has a purpose. Thinking back, all these animals thought they were too old, that their owners didn't want them anymore. And they formed a group and they found out that they're still important and they're still valuable. So that's the message we need to know going forward. Everyone's important. Everyone has a purpose. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you soon.